I don't know if this is... Ah. Can anyone hear me? This is always the worst part of live streaming. Can you not hear me? It says there's a few of you here, so let me know. Otherwise we might be in trouble. Hi, Tonya. Hi. Can you guys hear me? Hi, hi, hi. Okay, good. Okay, everyone's saying hi. Thank you, Claudia. Hi, Tracy. Hi, everyone. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. I actually filmed a video last night. I told you guys that I really wanted to still do the videos that I always do at the end of the year, which is kind of like my collections video. I usually do a tarot and an oracle deck collection video, and then I'll do like my favorite decks videos. And so I filmed my tarot deck collection video last night. An hour and a half of footage. My throat was sore by the end of it. But my computer's broken, so I can't edit it or upload it. So I don't know if or when that'll be coming out. So I thought, I don't think doing a whole deck collection live would be wise. I think that would take a long time. But I thought I could chat to you guys a little bit about my favorite tarot decks of the year. So I don't know, does that sound fun? Does that sound interesting? I know the quality isn't always great on these lives, but pretty much all of these I've done unboxings or spoken about or done reviews of. So I'll more just talk about why I liked them so much this year, why I enjoyed them so much this year. And then I'll show you a little bit, but like I said, I know the quality isn't great. So yeah, there's plenty of other videos on my channel about all of these decks, I think. Yeah, Tiger's Abyss. I can imagine that would have taken a while. Yeah, it took me an hour and a half just to film my deck collection and just my tarot decks. And I was trying to be very succinct. And yeah, you know, lives, it's very easy to just kind of get chatting and you want to, you know, respond to comments. I was like, this could easily take 2-3 hours. That doesn't seem like a good use of everybody's time. But this I thought was a little bit more manageable. Hi, Evelyn. Hi. Oh, it's so lovely that you're all here. Thank you. I don't know. Should I just get straight into it? I only actually have one oracle deck I wanted to talk about. I was thinking when I scheduled this that I would do a separate oracle deck one. That's why it says tarot decks. Yeah. But then I went through my decks and I just haven't used oracle decks much this year. And I mean, I've used several and I've enjoyed them, but they've all been for kind of short little bursts. Or, you know, just a few really special moments with a couple of different decks. But there is one oracle deck that has just kind of been a go-to oracle deck that I've just adored all year, and into late last year as well. Can anyone guess what it is? I don't know. Do you want to do guessing? I actually was gonna think about putting my decks in order actually, but I don't think I will now. That's too hard. Hi Anna. Hi Shuffle. Nobody wants to take a stab in the dark? No. Doreen Virtue. No, not Doreen Virtue. One of her tarot decks is in my favorites though. But thank you for trying, Anna. I appreciate it. Feel like you get a cookie for having a guess. No, it's the Life Design cards by Lisa McLaughlin. I got this deck secondhand last year, and I fell head over heels in love with it. I don't know, it was one of those things where I've always looked at her decks and liked the look of them. They are cool, aren't they? Is it worth me kind of holding them up? Can you see these well at all? I just fell head over heels in love with them, and I've always appreciated the colors and stuff, and I've always liked the look of them when I saw other people talking about them. But with the postage and everything, they're not the cheapest to get sent over here, and I wasn't 100% sure if I'd like them. But when I got the chance to get a copy secondhand, and I was kind of wondering how I'd go with them, because they have a little bit of a system, and they're quite unique in terms of like the keywords or the titles of the cards. Like this one is make a plan and take action. This one is take a past, present, future walk. You know, they're quite unusual. But I just started reading with it straight away and fell in love. This one says enjoy a mindful photography walk. Like they're very directive. I have not worked with this oracle much. The Tree Wisdom and Plant Ally are great. Yeah, those are other ones that I've really enjoyed, and I have used them a lot, as well as like the Recovery Oracle and things like, or the Recovery cards. What are they called? I've forgotten now. There's a few oracle decks that I've used and really enjoyed, but just this one kind of stands head and shoulders above the rest for me at this point, in terms of what I've been using and enjoying. And it's been so like scarily accurate a lot of the time for me, which has just been really fun. This one says seize the moment to creatively direct your raw energy. They're just really cool cards. I love them. And then yeah, after I fell in love with this one so much, last year Blair bought me her Tree Wisdom and Plant Ally oracle deck for Christmas. That was my Christmas present last year. So that was fun. I do have a great partner. I know what he's gotten me this year. I'm really excited. It's not a deck, but it's a journal, so I'm really excited. Aren't they pretty? I just think this is such a great deck, and I do really like the Plant Ally and Wisdom. Plant Ally. And Tree Wisdom. I do really like those too, but I don't know, there's just something about this one that is just on a whole other level for me anyway. And they work so beautifully with the textured tarot. They do indeed, and that is one of the decks on this list, on my tarot decks of the year list too. I'm gonna spoil it all. I'm so bad at keeping secrets. I'm a don't tell me what to do piece of cardboard for me, but they are really nice. Fair enough. I really like them. Like resist coercions of your culture. I've gotten that one a few times. I don't know. I just think it's great. It's really just unlike anything I've had or used before, and it's like it's just the most beautiful colors, and also I love this cardstock. Oh, it's just delicious. It's one of your favorites too. Yeah, I think it's fabulous. I absolutely love it. So that's kind of like my big oracle deck of the year. So I know that's a bit boring, but at least it's easy. I have, I think, about 10 tarot decks to share with you, because I wanted to kind of have a nice range without, like, you know, showing you 30 decks. So I feel like 10's a reasonable number to have as a favorites list for the year, don't you think? What sort of tarot decks did you guys really enjoy this year? I don't know where to start. Just arrived. Are those the Life Design cards? Yes, they are. That is my one oracle deck favorite for the year. Like I said, I've enjoyed plenty of oracle decks, but this is the one that I think I've just loved all year a lot. So I feel like if I was like looking at my other oracle decks being like, oh, come on, at least get a top 3. And I was like, I don't know, this one's just so far above all the others for me this year in terms of what I enjoyed and what I used, that it just felt like I was stretching to add stuff. And I suppose I should also preface this whole thing, well, at least the tarots, prefacing those, with that these aren't my favorite tarot decks of all time. Like, there's some of my favorite tarot decks of all time that aren't on this list. And that's just, I don't know, these are just the decks that I really enjoyed using this year. I might never use these decks again, I don't know, but that's, yeah, to me, my favorite decks of the year is a very different list. Or I approach it like my favorite decks of all time, or, do you know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. Tarot of the Spirit maybe? Ophidia, Rosa, Sacred Heart Tarot. What's the Sacred Heart Tarot? I feel like I've heard of that, but I don't, like, it doesn't come to mind. I'm loving the Sassy this year. I nearly got that one a couple of times. But it looks really cool though. I love all the colours. And I've heard the guidebook's really good. Do you have the guidebook, Tracy? Sassy Burrito was one of the faves for sure. Yes. I have a lot of favourites, but the Numinous Tarot really surprised me. Very cool. Tarot de Ox Arc? I've not heard of that one. And Tarot of the Four Elements. I don't think I've heard of that one either. Very interesting. You have the guidebook. I have the guidebook. Is that Tarot of the Spirit? I don't know what you're talking about because I don't anymore. Oh, the Sacred Heart. I need to look this up now. I don't... Oh, no, wait. I had Tarot of the Sacred Rose. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. I don't know Tarot of the Sacred Heart. But anyway. Don't have the book yet, Tracy. Let me know if you do ever get it and what you think of it, because I've heard good things about that book. There are too many I liked this year. Also, I didn't really keep track this year, so hopefully I will next year. Yeah, I haven't, this isn't like a, I haven't gone through my journals and tried to work out which decks I use the most or anything. This is just me kind of reflecting on, you know, looking back and going, I spent some really good quality time with these decks and really enjoyed that time. The guidebook is very good for the Sassy. Very cool. Yes, that is the one. The Sacred Rose. Is that what you're talking about? Dreams of Gaia Tarot, my all-time favorite. That is a good one. That is a good one. I am starting to feel like I want to pull it out soonish. Because for me, very often it's a high summer deck, and it doesn't really feel like summer here yet. But I don't know. It's starting to be a little bit of the smell in the air that. I don't know, there's just something about that high summer and that deck, the Dreams of Gaia, that does it for me. I'll need to get that guidebook then. Nice to know it's worth the cost. Well, I've heard good things. Okay, let's do, I have an honourable mention. It's Doreen Virtue's Guardian Angel Tarot cards. We're starting strong. I know everybody's going to love this one. This one's an honourable mention because I only got it again very recently. But I had it a long time ago, so I'm very familiar with it. The backing. Oh. And it's kind of the only deck I'm really using a whole lot at the moment. And I just love it. I love this deck so much. Just makes me happy, makes me feel good. I think I'm kind of struggling a little bit to be like, kind of hopeful and positive, and this deck is kind of very good at helping me with those things. Plus it's just really pretty, and it reminds me of my Nana, who was my favourite person in the world. She was so much my favourite that in year 8 or 9 we had to write an essay on an Australian hero. And most people picked like Kathy Freeman or the Prime Minister, or I don't know, some sports people. A lot of people pick sports people because Australia, we're pretty big into sports. Or like Nicole Kidman, all these sort of people. I picked my Nana. She was a volunteer for like 60 years or something. She raised her children, adopted 2 children, and then her son, who was my grandfather, died when he was 36. And so my father was the oldest of 6 when that happened. And so she essentially helped raise them as well. And then my father had his car accident when he was 31 or 32, and he broke his neck. And so that was very hard for my parents, and so she essentially helped raise me. And because of that, my parents, it was pretty hard on them financially and everything, with Dad breaking his neck and just emotionally as well. And she used to play bingo and win, like, you know, the meat packs. He'd win a bunch of sausages and steaks, and she'd give them to Mum and Dad, and that would be our dinner for the week. Like, she was just the most wonderful human. So she was my favorite person in the world, and she was my dad's favorite person in the world. And she is where we get our love of tea and cricket from. And she was just a very funny, I don't know, wonderful person. So this deck reminds me of my favorite person ever, and it's just really nourishing and supportive and gentle and kind, and yeah, all of the things I feel like I need from a tarot deck right now, which is nice. So that's my honourable mention. Not to mention the fact that the box and the book literally have glitter on them. I don't know if this will show up at all, but anyone who has this, it's the most ridiculous and amazing thing ever. The box and the book have glitter on them. I love it. I love it. So that's my honourable mention. I feel like the next one sort of is an honourable mention. I wasn't even sure whether to include it, but I'm going to, just because it's something a little bit different. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 plus my honourable mention. So that's a pretty good list, I think. I should probably check the comments, shouldn't I? Raven Phelan is almost done with another oracle. Oh, I didn't even know she was working on one. That's awesome. Your Nana sounds pretty amazing. She was super amazing. I have that tarot of Doreen. It was my first tarot. I love it too. It's pretty great. Everyone associates this deck with their grandmother. I might look into it despite the Doreen Virtue aspect of it. Yeah, you know what? I pretty much just ignore the Doreen Virtue thing. I think I've said before that I just refuse to allow her and her choices to taint my enjoyment of a certain deck. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get not supporting somebody who doesn't align with your ethics or values, and I understand all that. But for me, it doesn't make sense to, I don't know, you know, throw something out of spite or something. I don't know. I'm kind of okay with enjoying art and things by people that I don't necessarily agree with or like. So that's not really a thing for me. And it reminds me of my Nana, because she was very Catholic, and there's something quite Catholic feeling in terms of all the artwork and the pictures that are used, and I don't know, it just feels Catholic Nana to me. Yeah, so I love it. I need some water. Hi, Rosie. Does anyone want to, I mean, I know you tried to, we only had Anna guess for my Oracle decks, but does anybody want to have a guess at some of the tarot decks that I'm going to have in this list? There's 10 all up, so you don't have to list 10. Oh my god, you're Aussie. I'm so Aussie. I don't know when anyone, did you not pick up on that yet? Yes, I'm from Griffith originally, lived in Brisbane and then Townsville, and now live in Melbourne. Had a couple of Catholic nanas too. In fact, 3 because my dad was adopted. Nice. Spiral Tarot. Big hugs me too. Nice, Rosie. Mons Tarot. Well, I can tell you one of you are right. I'm guessing Sasuraibito textured next world. Claudia knows me well. Alright. Well, I don't want to... I'm so bad at, like, it's supposed to be all suspenseful and, oh, what's going to be on the list? And I'm like, no. Okay, we have a few guesses. Some are right, some are not. Okay, well, the first one is a bit of a weird one. Dark Days. I nearly put that on the list, but I feel like it's a bit too new for me. But yeah, it was kind of, I was going to have that along with the Guardian Angel as a honorable mention, but then I was like, it's not really an honorable mention if you're honorably mentioning like 8 different decks, you know? But yes, I have really enjoyed the Dark Days for the, you know, few weeks that I've kind of had it. Okay, this one is the Ophidia Rosa. Now, I'm adding this because it's been a very unusual experience for me, this deck. I got this. Why did I get this? I don't even know why I got this. I was curious and it was pretty. Is that a good enough reason? Actually, I ordered this while I was in Timor, I think. I don't know. I don't remember. I hear Melbourne tram. Yes, you do hear a tram. Is it too loud outside? I feel like it's not too bad, but yes, that was a tram that just went past. We have the largest working tram network in the world, and I love it. It's the best. It's not too loud outside. I mean, there's a few cars going past and stuff, but I don't think it's too bad, is it? Excuse me. Live in Newcastle. I went to Newcastle once because I used to be obsessed with the Knights. It's fine. Okay, good. And I held both the trophies that they won. The 97, was it 97? Was heavy, but I could hold it. But the 2001 one was just too heavy. I couldn't lift it. But that was really fun. Okay, the Ophidia Rosa. This deck is a bit of a funny one because it's really not my sort of style, as you might be aware. And I'm not even sure if I want to keep it long term, to be perfectly honest. And I don't really know that I enjoy reading with it. This is a good start, isn't it? I don't even know that I love reading with it just as a regular reading deck. But I've had some crazy, weird, amazing experiences with this deck in kind of more a ritualistic setting. And it's kind of just those unverifiable personal experiences with whatever we think is going on in the universe or might be going on in the universe. So I can't really express very clearly why this deck is on my list, other than to say that I've had some really powerful moments with this deck. The sort of moments that I haven't really had, I don't know, it's been weird and I don't know how to express it, so I apologize. I will try to express my love of the other decks a little bit more clearly. And so yeah, even though I don't really think, oh, I have this reading I want to do, I might pull out this deck. I don't want to read with this deck in that way. I have no desire to read with this deck in this way. I've tried a few times, it just doesn't really do anything for me. But in terms of more getting in touch with that special something in the universe, or whatever, this deck has been that for me, which is pretty cool. Excuse me. And it's just really pretty. So I kind of felt like I needed to put this on this list, because if I were to talk about the big moments I've had with tarot, this would be one of them, this deck. Not the only one, but definitely one of them. So I don't know, it's a bit of an odd one on this list. It's not one that I've used the most. It's not one that I find easiest to read or most enjoyable to read with or any of those things. It's just been a really interesting, moving, unique tarot experience for me. So that is why this one is on the list. And plus it's just really cool. I know a lot of people love this deck, and I can really see why. But I know a lot of people tend to be more like the intuitive readers or the Marseille readers or whatever. Whereas I've kind of had, I don't know, I've had a weird experience with this deck, okay guys? I found the Ophidia Rosa difficult to read with, yeah. And I do too, except for in very particular moments, and those are moments where I'm in kind of more a sacred space setting. And I'm just kind of, literally my experiences so far have been either trying to read and nothing happening, or kind of just really mindfully shuffling and trying to connect to something, and cards just popping out and having a very clear, specific meaning that is like the synchronicity of those moments has just been really intense, to the point where once or twice I kind of freaked out and I was like, what is going on? So yeah, it was interesting. And I'm still not really sure what I think of it. Like, I wouldn't be able to do a review on it. I don't even know that I want to keep it. It's just weird. I feel really strangely about that deck. But anyway, that's number one on my tarot deck list. I'm so thirsty today. I'm trying not to drink all my water because then I'll need to go and get more. But, all right, what should come next? I might do an old favorite, because I know exactly how to speak about this deck. Although I've spoken so much about this deck over the years that I feel like I'm just like repeating myself over and over again. It's the Fantastic Menagerie. I adore this deck so much. Oh, I can't even. I feel so happy and lucky that this deck is with me. I feel so happy and lucky that I had the opportunity to get this deck, because I know it's very hard to find. And I'm so glad that I took the chance, because I remember when somebody offered it to me for trade, I traded 6 or 8 decks for this one. And I remember when the woman offered it to me because she wanted a bunch of the decks I was trading, I kind of at first was like, why? Like, that doesn't seem like me at all. And then something in my gut was just like, just give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? It's a out of print deck. If it arrives and you don't gel with it, you can move it on. That's fine. My phone's just done something funny. Can I? Oh, I don't want to play around with it in case it shuts down the live. I'll leave it. It's fine. It's just all yellow. Does anyone else have those night settings on? Will Bubba ever reprint this deck in the Fairy Tale Tarot? I don't know. But I've had a few of their other decks and they're beautiful, but they honestly just do nothing for me. I appreciate their artwork. Like, I've had the Victorian Romantic and the Alice Tarot. And they're beautiful, but it's just so much going on in those images. There's so much color, and all the image just kind of ends up blurring into one for me. Like, I don't know. It's beautiful, but it just does nothing for me. This deck is, as far as I'm concerned, a work of genius. I just love it so much. And I think it's so witty. It has this dry, dark kind of black humor that is at once hilarious and uncomfortable. And it's so pretty too, a lot of it. I don't know what it is about this deck that just gets me so much. But I just adore it. I don't know whether this collection video will end up going up. So if I repeat myself a little bit, I am sorry about that. But I said in that video while I was filming, I've just forgotten what I said and what I was going to say. I don't know. Oh, I get a lot of, there's a few decks that I own that I get regular messages about people wanting me to sell to them. And this is one of those decks. And I mean, I understand that this is a fairly rare deck and people want it and I have it, so they message me. But the thing is, I haven't kept a list of all the people who want it. And if you're emailing me now, you are not the first. So if I'm supposed to be fair because you've put dibs on it, then no. But like, so I don't do that. I don't kind of keep in mind who said once upon a time that they want a deck, like, because that's just too difficult. But regardless, like, I'm just not parting with this deck. It's like I said at the beginning of this, that this isn't just a list of my all-time favorites. This is, however, one of my all-time favorite decks. This consistently is in my top 2 or 3 favorite decks of all time. I just adore it. So I'm not parting with this deck anytime soon. And it just makes me laugh. And it's one of those decks that I can just pull out and read really easily and clearly for myself or for others. It really knows how to get to the heart of the matter in a very, very clear, direct way. And it's just hilarious while it's doing it. Which sounds terrible, but I think sometimes that's really important, learning how to laugh at ourselves and not take ourselves and our experiences too seriously. Or learning just to see the humor even in challenges. That's kind of the stuff that this deck does. Plus, it's just, I think, a really interesting take on some of these cards. So I just adore it. I absolutely love this deck. And I've used it plenty this year again, because I think it's great. Hello, Little Bear Tarot. I'm not really committing to a full-on return, but I did want to make the videos that I make every year, which are my collection videos and my favorite decks of the year videos. But my computer's broken, so instead I'm doing a live favorite decks of the year. Although if my computer gets fixed, I might do this again in a video format so it's a bit easier to watch back. Because I like watching these back to kind of see what I was using. It's getting really warm in here. Just waiting for a deck to do that to me. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we all experience things differently, hey? Yeah. Tracy just went and ordered the book for the Saki Tarot. Do a video when I get a chance to read it. I look forward to it. Okay. How many decks have I done? I've done 4. Okay, that's not too bad. You won't regret it. It's such a good book. Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. What should be next? I'm just realizing that the majority of these are... Several of these are out of print. And almost all of them are independent otherwise. So I am I'm sorry about that. But what are you going to do? These are just the decks that I've enjoyed. While Tracy's here, let's talk about this one. The Idiosyncradeck Tarot. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce this. Like, I know the word idiosyncratic. Are you supposed to just pronounce that? Or are you supposed to really emphasize the deck? Do you know what I mean? Anyway, this tarot that Tracy sent me. Oh, I knew I was going to like this deck. I did not know I was going to fall head over fucking heels for this deck. And it's such a colourful, simple sort of a deck. And yet when I opened it, I don't know, did you guys watch my unboxing? I was borderline crying. It just made me genuinely emotional. I love it so much. So thank you, Tracy, you genuinely, this was a really, really special little moment for me this year. And thank you for doing that. Thank you for bringing this into my life. The White Sage really reminded you of this deck. That's interesting. I've never really looked twice at the White Sage. But this deck is just so easy to read for me. I think I just enjoy how much space there is. I love the white space. I just think there's just so much openness to this deck. It just feels really refreshing and clear. I don't know, like it just, and it's really pretty, and there's a lot of teacups, okay? I'm easy to make happy with things like that. But I really enjoy the simplicity of this, especially when, you know, with tarot, there's so much going on. There's 78 cards, and there's 4 suits, and there's the major and the minors, and there's all these, like, there's the elements associated, and then you can have, like, the astrological associations and all of the things. And I just love that this deck is just, I don't know, it just is easy. And I don't mean that in like a derogatory way. I just mean as in, you know, those people who you spend time with. I'm not one of these people, I'm sorry. But those people that are just kind of calm and friendly, and they're just easy to be around. That's what this deck feels like, and I love it. And it's really pretty. I like it a lot. I don't know if any of that makes sense, describing my decks as people. I do that a little too often. I've had a few people who really don't like that I do that. But what are you gonna do? It's the easiest way for me to express how I feel, is to personify things. I just think it's really cool. It's a bit new agey, a little tad witchy, but just really fresh and open and easy and modern and simple and lovely. The otters, yes. I love all these balloons, and there's the dandelion and the teacups, and I just really, really love it. Love it. And I do have the Amethyst Oracle. I got that from Annika from Nobody Here. We did a trade. And I do really like that, but I just haven't used it anywhere near as much. So perhaps that'll be on my favorites next year, we'll see. But it's really very similar in terms of the style and everything. I love this. I love it. I love it. It's making me want to read with this right now, actually. I might keep it out and do a reading later. Look at this Empress card. They're just so pretty. I'm such a sucker for pretty things, like colourful things. And I like too that, like, there's no guidebook with this. And I think I spoke about, I did a video a while ago about intuition and guidebooks, because I had a lot of questions from people talking about how, you know, they were stuck, they felt stuck using the guidebook, and like they couldn't get away from guidebooks. And I can totally appreciate that. Being like a perfectionist and someone who doubts myself a lot, it's so easy for me to just go to the book, especially when I'm reading for myself, you know, like to just kind of, you know, pull out the cards and be like, oh, yep, okay, this is probably what it means, but I should check, you know. It's really easy for me to do that. And actually the deck that taught me to stop doing that was a Fantastic Menagerie, because this you used to be able to get like a proper guidebook with this deck. and I didn't have it, and I was still I was getting a handle on tarot when I got this, and I remember thinking, I can't use this deck. I'm not clever enough or smart enough or know enough about tarot to use this deck. I need the book. And I couldn't get the book. And in the end, I was just like, why don't you just give it a go and see what happens? And guess what? It was amazing. And so, I mean, partly it's because the deck is amazing, but also partly it's because I just let myself see what would happen. I think when we bring curiosity, like a spirit of curiosity, I think that is one of the most powerful things we can use or sit back into, is to just, whenever we're overwhelmed or stressed or whatever, if we can bring a sense of just openness and curiosity to the table, I think that's when we can learn a lot and experience a lot that we might otherwise be kind of closing ourselves off to. All of that is to say that as much as like the perfectionist side of me is always like, oh, why isn't there a guidebook? I want a guidebook. The other part of me is just like almost relieved when there isn't one, because it means that I can't, even if I want to, I can't restrict myself in that way. And this is one of those decks. And I mean, obviously it's very simple, so you don't really need one. But if there was one, a lot of the time my brain would be like, but are you right? What does the guidebook say? So I love this deck. I love it. I love it. Okay, sorry, I went on a little ramble there. Yes, with the teacups. It's my working deck. Is that the White Sage? I've heard a lot of people say that they really like that one. You should use them together. They are great reading. They give great readings together. Yeah, I have done a few readings with them together, and I do really like them. I think I've just enjoyed the tarot deck so much that I just haven't spent as much time with the oracle. My screen is really bothering me. Do you guys know if I kind of not close YouTube, but you know how on your phone you can go into a different app? Do you know if I do that it'll shut out because I want to go into my settings? It's really screwing with my eyes. Anyway. I really find guidebooks don't give really good info. They can muddle the reading. Yeah, I think sometimes they do give great info, and there are some guidebooks that I really, really enjoy. But I think also we just have to be really careful with ourselves and aware of what we're using them for and why. But yeah, I agree. If we're relying on them in that sort of a way, they definitely, I think, muddle the reading more than they help. And I think they just, by kind of handing over our autonomy in that way, we just degrade our own confidence, which is not cool. I had this same experience with the Tarot del Fuego because it doesn't have a guidebook, so I opened my intuition. Lovely. Hi, Katey. Hi. It'll stop the stream. Okay, thank you. Oh, why didn't I figure this out beforehand? It's really bothering me. Maybe if I... No. Does that stop it when I do that? Ugh, it's really bothering me. Okay, anyway, I'll stop talking about it. Okay, next deck. Let's talk about basically a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. Oh, shit, I only broke one of the cards. That's not clever, Katey. Oh, I bent it a little. This deck is the Minotaur Tarot. Has this little bag. I love this deck so much. I remember when I got it, I was kind of thinking like, because it wasn't super cheap, and I think I got the last copy. Hold on. My hay fever's really bad. I'm sorry. Okay. This deck, I remember thinking, I was just like, why are you spending money on another Rider-Waite-Smith clone? Like, do you really need this in your life? And of course the answer is no. Like, we need food and we need shelter. I do not need more tarot decks. But there's just something about this that has always appealed to me. Like the childlike, the colors just, I don't know. Okay, I think I've made this worse by making it too bright. I'm just gonna put the brightness right down. There we go. I just adore this deck. And it's pretty much my main Rider-Waite-Smith deck now. I mean, I still have my, like, my Centennial and my purple box and things. And there is another kind of Rider-Waite-Smith based, you know, sort of a deck here on this list as well. But as far as, like, this is pretty damn close in most of the cards to the Rider-Waite-Smith. It's just super cute. And for anyone who doesn't know, the whole premise of this deck was basically that the artist was basically experiencing a bit of artist block, creative, you know, she was struggling with the creative flow. And so she gave herself, and one of her other projects, I think it was a tarot deck as well, she just kind of like stagnated in her other project. And so she decided for this one to give herself 5 minutes for each card. That's it. So it was kind of one of these things of just stopping the overthinking and just do it. And I can really relate to that overthinking and overcomplicating and all of that, and the procrastination and the people are in my building. I can relate to all of that. And I just feel like a lot of that kind of, that energy of just get it down and get it done. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is about just whatever comes up is good enough. I feel like a lot of that went into the creation of the deck comes through in how I experience it and how I read with it, which is really fun. So when I read with this deck, I get really snappy, quick meanings and messages. And I can sit with them and kind of pull more out, obviously. But it's also just one of those kind of throw the cards down and just what comes up, yep, cool, good. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just a fun experience. It just loosens me up, gives me a bit of freedom and space to just, I don't know, just experience the cards and enjoy them for what they are and not overthink them and not overcomplicate the whole thing. And it's just great. I love it. I love it. I also just love the size. It's a great little size, especially if you want to pull, you know, a larger spread. The colors are really pretty. The people are adorable in this deck. A lot of them have little goatees and funny little 70s porn moustaches, and I just love it. Just cracks me up. Just cracks me up. I love it. It's such a good little deck. And this has been a favorite of mine ever since I got it. When did I get it? It wasn't this year, it was the year before, wasn't it? I think it was last year. But anyway, absolutely adore this deck. Yeah, I love how it shuffles. I love the color of it. I just love everything about it. I love that it came in this little kind of pouch, but also the little tin. Like, I just love everything about this little deck. And I did get the Lenormand because she has a minute Lenormand. But I think I've just accepted that. I don't think Lenormand does a whole lot for me. I'm happy with the tarot deck. I love it. It's getting really warm and I'm really thirsty. So jealous this has been on my wish list for so long. Is that the Minute Tarot? Or was that the Idiosyncradeck? Food and air is overrated. Just give me decks on my wish list, please. Hello. Hi everyone who's come in. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, I don't think we're doing too bad. We're making it through. I was wondering why you retracted your comment, Tracy. Oh, nice. You have the Idiosyncradeck. Yeah, the Minute Tarot. I know it's out of print, although she does kind of reprint her decks occasionally, so you never know. Keep an eye out. But, I mean, if it appeals to you, my experience with it has been amazing. So if you get the opportunity, at a reasonable price, obviously, I couldn't recommend it more highly, personally. Okay. We have 6 tarot decks left. What should we do next? I'll do this one because people guessed this one, and this is pretty obvious. I used this deck so much. It felt like it was one of the only decks I was using for like 6 months. It's the Sasuraibito, or the Sassy Burrito. Do you guys watch Anna Arcana? Does anyone watch Anna Arcana here on YouTube? She's not in our tarot community. She's like a big, proper, fancy YouTuber. She's great, in case anybody hasn't seen her before. She does kind of like just weekly... She's a comedian, but she talks a lot about like self-helpy stuff. I don't know, I just think she's really funny. And I've just watched her for a long time. Yeah, you do? Yeah, have you noticed like the last year or so she kind of has dropped little comments about, you know, spells and witchy things, and then she did a live chat a few months ago now, and she was talking about how she was learning tarot, and it was with this deck, and I was like, girl. Which is pretty cool. So if anybody doesn't know who she is, she's pretty great. I don't know, just funny and really, I don't know, I like her a lot. Yeah, so she is learning tarot with this deck, or at least was. I don't know what she's still doing. But I just thought that was really cool. Anna Arcana. So it's Anna, A-N-N-A, Arcana. I'm really bad at spelling things out of my head. A-K-A-N-A. I can just type it in here, actually. Oh, it wants to autocorrect it to Alana. There you go. Yeah, she's just really fun and great, and yeah, I don't know. I like her. She is a pretty big advocate for mental health too, because her younger sister died by suicide when they were quite young. So Anna's spoken about that quite a bit on her channel. I think that's originally how I found her, actually. So she's very funny and silly and interesting, but also, I don't know, has a good message behind a lot of her stuff too. Yeah, well, let me know what you think. I don't know. She's not everybody's cup of tea, but I really like her. Anyway, point is, she likes this deck too. Sasuraibito, I got this towards the end of last year, and I almost didn't get this deck. I more got it out of curiosity. And I just fell in love. And I felt like I couldn't put this down. I remember I put in one of the Facebook groups. I'm not a part of any of the Facebook groups anymore. I'm only part of like the buy, sell, swap groups. I'm not part of the chatty tarot groups anymore. But when I was, I remember putting in that group, like I wasn't literally about to sell my whole collection, but there was that little part of me that was just like, right now, I don't feel like I ever want to use another deck ever again. Like a little bit exaggerating, but I loved this deck so much that I was like, I don't know if I see new decks and I don't want to get them because I know that means that I'll have less time for this one. So it was just a really funny, interesting little experience I had, and I loved using this deck. I started using it straight away. The guidebook is great, but you don't need the guidebook because it's so expressive in a lot of ways. I think in my review, I've done a very extensive review on this deck, and I think in that review I spoke about how in some ways it reminds me of the Katey Tarot. And not in terms of the artwork, but just in terms of the whole approach of just letting the colors and the mood and the, you know, the movement or whatever of the characters tell a story that gives us the meaning of the cards, rather than relying on, you know, some kind of like occult symbolism that we have to know the backstory of. Like both of those decks just kind of remove all of that and just let the images speak for themselves. And I really like that. I love how you can like look at this deck and kind of just, you can pull out a card and start describing what you see. And you're kind of like saying the meaning through doing that, describing what you see and feel in your response to the deck. And that's you're doing the reading. And I know you can do that with any deck, but you know what I mean? Like that's the way that these sort of cards are designed, that's enough. That's the point. And I just love that. It's such an easy deck to use, and it's beautiful and fun and colorful and alive, and I just love it. I love it. And I'm getting really warm. Like, look at this. It's just like, that's such a simple image, but it's so effective. Like the clarity and cutting through the fog and just, I don't, like, it's just so simple. And that's how I feel about a lot of these cards. Like, they're just, like friendship, connection, love, like it's just all there. It's just so easy. And then obviously you can pull more specific things from it, but you know, I don't know, just think it's so great. And I think it feels really personal, and a lot of these are really like kind of close cut, and I don't know, it just feels like intimate. I don't know, just love it. I love like these, I love her hair, her dress is cool. I just think it's just really fun, and love this. Just a really great little deck. And I know a lot of people love it. I know it's kind of like a bit of a big deal for a while. And I remember it being such a big deal, and I was like looking at it and I'm like, I don't know, whatever, like it's cool, but I don't think it's for me. And then I got it and I was like, yep, I get the hype, guys, I get it. You can take my slippers off. Oh. Thanks, I'll check Anna Arcana out, yes. Do, and let me know what you think. Love the Sassy Burrito, yeah. The Sasuraibito is a deck I use a lot. Definitely, me too. You are not in for love of cards. No, I haven't been in for love of cards for a long time. She's working on an oracle deck too. What? What? Are you serious? Are like images out at all of any of the cards yet? Is it like the tarot deck? I have a lot of questions. I'm not really big into oracle decks these days, but that one might. That's really cool. Sassy burritos are my Christmas. Well, I hope Santa is good to you. I need an oracle deck like Sassy Burrito, yeah. I cried when I saw the 8 of Cups, so spot on. And it took me back to a place in my life when I decided to live again. Oh my God. Yeah, a lot of the cards kind of had those sort of feelings for me too. And I think it's just the intimacy of them, and it just feels like a really small moment of emotion with certain characters. And I think most of us can identify with most of those emotional experiences, some of them more intensely than others. And I think that's why this deck is so great. I'm glad you decided to live. She also has a playing card deck with cats. Oh, so many things I didn't know. Cats on my wish list now. Okay, I'll definitely have to go check out our Instagram. Thank you for letting me know. See, this is one of the things I do miss about the Facebook groups. I don't miss a lot about them, but it's just kind of like the updates and things. I feel like I'm kind of out of the loop, but that's okay. It's better for my mental health. Going to look at her IG after this video. Yes, I think I will be doing the same. Okay. Whew. What should be next? I feel like most of you will know most of them, but you might not know one or two of them. Okay. Yes, we're all heading over to Instagram after this. Next one is the textured tarot. Oh my God. This deck. I adore this. I for a moment considered not getting this deck. One of my favorites too, yeah. I for a moment considered not getting this deck just because the reason I was originally interested in it is because I loved the life design cards so much. And I thought that the tarot deck was going to look more like the life design. And so when I started seeing the images, I kind of realized that it wasn't like the life design so much. So I was a little bit like, oh, okay. And then when she released it and the price, and I say this, I'm not judging or attacking our creators. I understand why the decks are expensive, and I really truly believe that our creators need to be paid fairly and well. But also, for me personally, it was more than $100 Australian to get it shipped here. And that was a tough bullet to bite, and I nearly didn't. But obviously I did in the end. And because I kind of figured, you know, it's one of those decks that because it's so expensive to get into Australia, a lot of other Australians wouldn't have bought it. And so if I decided to trade or sell it, I probably wouldn't lose too much. Do you know what I mean? And plus I just loved her work so much, and I knew I loved the Oracle deck so much. And I only got that kind of just to see and try. And I don't know, I felt like I owed it to her and myself to give it a go. I'm just shuffling because I love this card stock so much. I did an unboxing of this. And when it arrived, I really loved it when I did the unboxing. And I was like, okay, it's beautiful. It's much, I don't think the camera does it justice. It's more beautiful in person than I thought it was going to be. And then I started reading with it. And it just blew me the fuck away. Oh. It was so clear and on point. Like, it just was brilliant to work with. And it's superb on its own. It's beautiful, it flows, it's clear, there's plenty of depth, but it still, you know, has a succinct sort, not succinct, but clear. I didn't want to use that word again, but I'm going to. There's plenty of depth, and it provides, you know, that kind of well-rounded reading, but it's still clear about what the issue is and what needs to be done. You know, that sort of a reading where it's plenty to chew on, but it's not so much that it's just a mess. I don't know. It's still able to deliver, or at least I'm able to read with it in a way that delivers clarity and information as opposed to just too much information. I don't know. It's brilliant on its own in that way, but it's also brilliant with her Oracle decks, and I mostly use it with the life design cards just because I love that deck so much. With the Tree Wisdom and the Plant Ally, I tend to more just pull one of those cards, maybe at the end of a reading, just in more that kind of like sum up, here's a nice little affirmation sort of a way we use Oracle cards, whereas with the life design, I like read with that deck. So I will maybe draw 3 cards from the life design and 3 cards from this, or whatever, I don't know. But I just adore this deck. I genuinely just think this is a wonderful deck. And she even put on Instagram kind of like a time lapse of her, like what she did to make this deck. And it's incredible how much goes into this, because it's mixed media. It's not just collage. There's a lot going into it. And there's so many different layers and textures, and that's why it's called the Textured Tarot. And I just think it's beautiful. The end result was totally worth all of her time and effort. And as far as I'm concerned, my money. I have not regretted spending that money on this deck at all. I just adore it. The little guidebook it comes with is good, but I don't know, for me it doesn't really add a lot to it. I don't dislike the guidebook. That's not what I'm saying at all. It just, I don't know. I don't feel strongly about the guidebook, and I don't use it, but I love the cards. That has been a great deck this year. And I did do a full unboxing and flip through of that deck. So yeah, I think the only one I haven't done a video on is one that I'm going to show you next, and the Ophidia Rosa. The rest I've done videos on. I so love the textured tarot. Yeah. Another favorite. We have a lot in common about our decks. Yes. Sounds like you have good taste. Everyone is talking about this deck, but they haven't taken a good look at it. Oh, I haven't taken a good... I thought you were like calling people out. I was like, oh, are we getting sassy tonight? No. I think you should definitely take a look at it. I think it's brilliant, but that's just me personally. That is outrageous. Shipping to Europe is always so expensive in the customs. Yeah, shipping to Australia is ridiculous. We don't really have customs, but they've just introduced our kind of big tax on, well, it's called the goods and services tax, the GST, is a flat 10% on all goods and services. But it's like included in all our costs. Like it's not like in America where, you know, if you're going shopping, you add taxes on from what it says on the label. All of our taxes are included in the label, but just everything has a flat 10% that goes to the government. And with importing, we used to not have to worry about that for anything under $1,000. They've changed that now. So we do have to pay the 10%, which is not fun. But we don't really have any customs. I've never had to pay anything like that. I think, again, that's only over $1,000 or something, or $500. But our exchange rate is never great. And yeah, the shipping is a bitch. A bitch. Okay, off to see a walkthrough of this deck. Well, I have one on my channel. Well, it's not a walkthrough, it's more a flip through, but you need this deck in your life. It's a British made deck. Yeah, it is. And also, I think, yeah, so it did come from England. So it'd be cheaper getting it actually in Europe and stuff, wouldn't it? And I know Little Red Tarot stocks her Oracle decks. I don't know about the textured tarot though. But Little Red Tarot is great because even for Australia, Little Red Tarot does like a set international shipping as well. So a lot of the time, if she stocks an American deck, it's cheaper for me to get the American deck from Britain through her, sent to me, which is just insane to me. Like it's cheaper for it to go from America to England to me than for it just to come from America. Because the shipping, she has that flat worldwide, I think it's like £10 or something, which does end up being like $18 or something, or $20, which is a bit, but you can get a few decks from her and it's like this flat rate. It's so good. So if you're outside of America, I'd have a look at Little Red Tarot because she has that flat rate. For indie decks, it's great. It's so stunning and it reads like a dream. I used it for clients for a whole weekend when I read at a tarot exhibition. Nice. Yeah, I agree. It reads great for others too. I have to pay 25% here in Denmark and customs. 25%. Plus shipping, of course, yeah. If it's outside of the EU, yeah. In the Netherlands, we pay about £30 for decks outside of Europe. Is that for shipping? Our shipping can be anywhere from $15, which is fine, but up to like $45 for a deck. Like I know the Sacred Creators Oracle. I actually just got that in a trade. I have to message Gordo. Yeah, to purchase that deck, it was like the cost of the deck again for shipping, and I was just like, I really like the look of it, but I don't know that I need an Oracle deck that much. So shipping can just really put me off. And again, not because I understand that is cost incurred, like I don't expect the artist to cop that. It's just the reality that we have to make these decisions for ourselves. That is about $34. Is that American? That is for customs. Yeah, wow. I'm quite glad we don't have to worry about customs. I mean, our customs are just more concerned with we're not allowed to bring in anything like, what do you call it, organic into the country. That's what they're more concerned about. Because we're such an isolated, we're an island, basically, that didn't have a lot of contact with outside world for, you know, until the past few centuries, a lot of our flora and fauna is really susceptible to a lot of the diseases and pests and things that the rest of the world has. So that's what they're more concerned about. And like our bananas and our crops, you know, that sort of stuff, because we rely so much on that as far as our economy is concerned. Our customs are much more concerned with making sure none of that stuff comes in. So I can send cute little branches and stuff out, but nobody can send that to me. So that's what our border people are more worried about. But we don't really have custom-y stuff on books and things. I think it's because we need to bring in so much that it'd be a bit shit for us not to be able to buy anything online. I think a lot of people would be quite upset. Although it always makes me laugh. I think it was Vix shared a thing from Little Red Tarot recently talking about like slow shopping or business, and how, you know, we're so used to apparently like, you know, ordering something and getting it the next day. And I was just like, are we? Because that is not my experience. It is funny though, like I often see like in the Facebook groups, like for lots of different things, like whatever sort of Facebook groups you're in, how people will be like, I ordered this 2 days ago and it's not here. And I'm just like, I'd be lucky if it had been shipped within 2 days, let alone at my door. What? You know, waiting for stuff to come overseas is, you know, you just don't even start to worry about it until it's at 3 weeks. And then you're like, oh, maybe I should check, you know. Even stuff within Australia, it's still you still allow a week. Sometimes it's like 2 or 3 days, but you allow a week. It's just crazy to me that people get stuff the next day. I just don't even know what that world is like. And I see how like that convenience would be great, but I think it also it must affect us psychologically. But anyway, back to decks. Hold on. I'm not sure how I went on that ramble. I'm sorry. Okay. Next deck. Let's do this one. It's the Monstarot. Oh. I adore this deck. Actually, Tracy, was it you who spoke a lot? Is Tracy even still here? Was it Tracy? I feel like Tracy did a video about this deck. I swear it was her. I'm really bad with my memory though. But I'm pretty sure it was Tracy who originally got me onto this deck with a video that she did. And this was another one. Hello. Yes, it is you. Yeah, you did a video of this deck and I was kind of like, oh my God, it's so adorable, it hurts. Yes, it was you. And it was another one that I really wanted, but I just wasn't prepared to spend that much on the shipping and everything. And so I got it secondhand in Australia. And I just, I fell in love with it so hard. Again, I was just like, do I need another Rider-Waite-Smith clone? Because I mean, like, it's basically Rider-Waite-Smith just with little alien monster creature things. And it turns out, yes, I did need this in my life because it's brilliant and I adore it. I think this would probably be my most used deck of this year, maybe. Wow, I hadn't really thought of that, but I think it would be. That's crazy. It's just the most adorable thing. And I did a review on this and some people thought I was being really silly about how I was speaking about this deck as if it was like some magical alive thing. And again, I don't even know if that's true or if that's what I believe, but that's how I experience my decks. So that's how I describe them. Or at least it's easiest for me to communicate it in that way. I just love this deck so much. It's just a total workhorse for me. In a lot of ways, and I really hate saying this, but in a lot of ways it kind of is a combination for me of the Serco Tarot and the Hezekos Tarot. In a way, those two used to be workhorses for me, and I just, ever since I got this deck, I've hardly used them. Which makes me so sad because those decks have been favourites of mine for so long and I still adore them. But I just don't really use them anymore. And it's because this one is my go-to for that sort of Rider-Waite-Smith-ish colourful, slightly different world sort of a deck. Like those kind of, I mean, the Circo's quite different and the Hezekos is, you know, quite different too, but there's something about those three decks that feel fairly similar to me in terms of how they read and what sort of readings I want to use them for. And I don't want to say this deck has replaced those ones, but it kind of has, it feels like it's filled that hole for me. Which, yeah, it's really hot. I have to open the door. I'm sorry. I'll be back. I really hope I don't knock the camera over. Okay. I shut the door a little bit earlier because it was getting cool and I was worried it'd be too noisy, but now it's just fucking hot. Okay, this deck. Thank you, Tracy. You brought the Idiosyncradeck and this one into my life. I think you and Veronica Jude would be my two tarot, like, I don't want to say fairy godmothers, that makes you sound like ancient. It's not what I mean. You know what I mean. Just, you've both really beautifully impacted my tarot life this year. I love this deck. I love the colors. Everything about it is just so fun. I really like the cardstock of this too. They're really big cards though. Not the biggest cards in this list, but I think probably the second biggest. So pretty. It's just such an easy deck to read, and actually the little white book is brilliant. I love the little white book. It is just a little white book. And you know, the messages are just, the meanings are quite small, but I just think they're written really well. And they're really interesting and they really add to the meaning. You know, there's a bit of a description about the intention behind the art, which I always like. And it doesn't feel, even though the cards and the meanings are very Rider-Waite-Smith, it doesn't just feel like they've written a list of, you know, the most common keywords or whatever. It does feel like it kind of, I don't know. I think it's great. I think it adds a little bit. It's just a fabulous deck and I love it. It's just a pleasure to work with. It kind of, I think, helps me see things in a new way. It kind of brings a different perspective to things, which I spoke about in my review. And it's just the most adorable thing. Look at it. I know she's creating a new deck and I'm not sure about it because it looks kind of similar to this one. So I'll be interested to see if it'd be worth adding to the collection or if it's more... Is it quite loud now that I've opened up that door? I hope it's okay. I am curious to, I look forward to kind of I hope other people will do videos of her new deck. Because I certainly won't be like pre-ordering it or purchasing it straight out. I'll want to have a good look at, you know, if it's different enough to justify the purchase. But this one kind of really surprised me with how much I like it. Such a cute deck, but the cards are a bit big for me to shuffle. Yeah, they're borderline, they're pretty big. I'll definitely, I'll concede that point. Such a cute deck, but I just read that one. I tried to buy this deck, but I'm having issues. Is it out of print? Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't checked. It might be out of print right now. Yeah. I don't know. I know she's working on a new deck, so I wonder if she'll reprint this one or just move on to the next one. Veronica Jude is quite an enabler, and I'm embracing my drone, so I'm okay being old. I didn't mean to call you old. I don't think you're old. I just meant that, you know, fairy godmothers, it makes you sound like you're, you know, like 80. That's not. I just meant that you were very kind to me this year and you inspired me to purchase another of my favorite. I mean, 2 of these decks are my top 10 favorites are you're doing directly or otherwise, which is, I don't know, pretty great. So thank you. I'm old. It's okay. I really don't think you are, but okay. Crone, not drone. Drones are pretty cool too though, right? Unless they're stopping planes in What are they? Where's that place in England or Britain? It's the second biggest, anyway. Okay. Okay, I have 3 decks left. Let's talk about the small. We'll go in order of Yeah, we'll go in order of size. That seems like a good way to do this. This is the Stella's Tarot. This is my little trimmed copy. I just sold my intact one actually. But this is my one true love. I've had this is probably, I think this is the deck that I've had the longest that's on this list. I love it so much. And it kind of is like, it's a little bit like the Fantastic Menagerie in that it has quite a sense of humor, but it's also quite different. I love that I've trimmed it. I've come back around. I know I didn't like it at first, but I really enjoy it now and appreciate it now because it's like this little pocket deck. And the images are just striking. I know that the stream quality isn't great, but I have done a review on this. It's one of my older reviews though, so I don't know how cringy it is. But it's a beautiful deck. It's a wonderful one. It is out of print now. I ordered it when it was still in print, and it went out of print about a year ago, I think. Although I think you still can get it from the creator in Japan, but I don't know. I don't really know how to go about doing that. But it's a beautiful deck. One of my favorites of all time. Love the colors. And it's just a really interesting art style. I'm not like savvy with art styles and whatever. I don't know how to describe what I'm seeing, you know, in clever ways. I'm just like, it's pretty. I like it. The shapes are cool. Colors, yay. Like that's that's the extent of my art vocabulary. But I really enjoy like this, whatever this is, like the style. I think it's really cool. And I just love it. I love that there's a lot of like little shooting stars and things in this. Well, not a lot, but there's several cards with little shooting stars. And I love how it kind of plays with perspective or like size as well in some of them. Like the sizes of people versus objects or things can be a little bit funny, or I don't know. I just think it's a fun, it can be a little unsettling, but more, it's just, I don't know, it's a bit playful. I really like it a lot. This is kind of a deck people either love or hate. I know when I first did the review, a lot of people didn't like it, but I think over time, more people have come to like it. And it's just really cute. And I love it as a little pocket deck now. So cool. Okay. So brave that you trim your Stella's Tarot. I quite like the cream borders on mine, but your deck really pops. Yeah. I didn't hate the borders, and I had the borders on for a long time. I don't really know what possessed me. But it changed the feel of the deck quite a bit. And at first I wasn't in love with it for quite a while actually. But now I am. I adore it. Such a good little deck. I'm so glad I have it. Okay, we have 2 left. This one I feel like most of you wouldn't have guessed. And even for me, it was a bit of like a dark horse in this whole thing. Like, I've used it heaps and I've enjoyed it, but it's not a deck I would think of if I was talking about my favorite decks of all time or anything. Like, it's just one of those pretty simple, pretty basic, but solid workhorsey type decks for me. And that's the Tarot Mucha. Love this. I got this secondhand too. Get a lot of my decks secondhand. Actually, of my top 10, How many have I bought new? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About a half and half I've bought new versus gotten second hand. 1, 2. Yeah. This deck is basically the Rider-Waite-Smith, just with different artwork. In a different art style. And I love it. And this backing's really pretty too. The Weeping Angel Judgment card. I know, right? The Judgment card is creepy. And it does look a bit like a Weeping Angel. For all you Doctor Who fans. And anybody who's not, well, I'm sorry for your loss. I don't know where it is. But yeah, it's creepy as hell. But that's kind of why I love it. Oh, the Lovers is creepy too, hey. Like, I mean, look at it. It looks like, you can't see this probably in this, but like the angel and the Lovers isn't like, ha, it's like, ha. And then the Judgment's terrifying. Oh my god. So yeah, the angels in this are terrifying, but the rest of the deck is wonderful. It is blurry. That's just my internet connection. It's such a wonderful deck though. And it's just one of those decks that, even though I don't think of it as a deck that I love, it's one that I use so much. I use it a lot for other people. I use it a bit for myself too, but I've used it a lot for clients this year. And I do tend to find myself using it a lot for relationship readings. And I don't do, you know, does he love me or is he cheating on me sort of readings, just because I don't feel like I'm the right person for those sort of readings. But I do think relationships are a really big, important part of who we are and how we experience the world. And they're a big part of, you know, what occupies our mind. Like, they just are. So I don't think, I enjoy doing relationship readings. And this is a deck that I just love using for those sort of questions and those sort of readings. It's great for, it's got a very neutral tone to it, so it's great for almost anything. I just think it's wonderful. I love it. Such a strong, just capable, solid, I don't know, just a good all-round solid deck, you know? Like, it's not some revolutionary, beautiful, I mean, like, it's beautiful, but it's not changing the game or anything like that, do you know what I mean? But just a good, solid staple in my collection, really, I suppose, and in my, you know, arsenal as far as like a reader. It's a really good deck, and I love like the moodiness of it. Doesn't really come across in the readings necessarily, but just like the colors that are used I think are really effective. And I love the borders. I think they're really pretty, kind of scrolly, not worky sort of. I really like it. And I think this is a really good production too, like the little box and the book and everything are really good. Just like it a lot. The angels in the Lovers card look so angry. I know. Oh, hello. Hi, I'm good. How are you? My computer's broken, so I can't edit videos, and I wanted to do my collection videos and favorites videos for the year like I always do. And I filmed my collection video, but I can't edit it, so I thought I'd do my favorites. And I'm about to share my final favorite. Not really in any order, but I do feel like this is a pretty special one. Does anyone want to guess what it is? My favorite deck of the year that I haven't mentioned yet. So what we've already been over was the Guardian Angel Tarot by Doreen Virtue, the Idiosyncradeck, Fantastic Menagerie, the Little Monsters or the Mons Tarot, Stella's Minotaur Tarot, Textured Sassy Burrito, Ophidia Rosa, and Tarot Mucha. And not the Gill Tracy. Oh, whoops, not the Gill Tracy. But we do have the correct answer there, Natalie. It is the next world. Ah. This deck is a special deck. And this is a massive deck. Look at it. It's massive. Compared to like, I don't know, this is just like the box of the textured tarot. Oh, it's massive. But this deck is a sacred, beautiful, radical gift to this world as far as I'm concerned. This backing is gorgeous. And these cards. I don't even have words for this at this point. Oh. I just get really emotional when I look at this deck and I try and talk about it, because I just genuinely think it's so important. It's so powerful and beautiful. And obviously it's intrinsically political, but there is so, and it's not a but, it just feels so radically self-loving and accepting. I just think it's wonderful. And I love these colors. I've spoken before about how I wasn't 100% sure how I would go with how busy this artwork is. And so I know a lot of people don't like how big these cards are, but I actually really appreciate it, because I feel like if the art was too small, I wouldn't be able to see it. I suppose in many ways, like other people say, the Shadowscapes is too small. I can't see what's going on in the Shadowscapes cards at all. Like, I've owned that deck, and I've also owned the Czech version of that deck, and it's just too small for me to see. And I feel like that would happen with this deck too, if the cards were smaller. So yes, it is difficult to handle, but that's a small price to pay for being able to really appreciate and experience this artwork and all of the details within it. It's just the most wonderful deck. And I think it's just been reprinted, hasn't it? Is it out yet, or is it just for pre-order? But I'm so glad it is. Like, I know some people won't, because it's like, you know, they like the collective value of something being out of print. If they own it, they're not happy about it if they don't own it, but if they do. But this is one deck that I'm just like, I want it to be accessible to people, because I think it's, I mean, it's not perfect, no deck is perfect, but just for me and how I see the world, and I don't know. I just think this is a really special deck. And it's, reading this deck is just like an honor. The sorts of messages that I've gotten from it have been the sort of readings where I've just been like moved to tears in a way that, and it's not like, oh shit, the tower, my life's going to shit, fuck, oh, I'm scared. Like, not those sort of tears, but like the sort of tears where it's like, I'm confused and I'm upset and I don't know what's going on. I feel overwhelmed, and I draw a few cards from this and I feel seen, and I feel validated, and I feel accepted, and I feel loved. And I feel like, yes, things are difficult. Yes, things will always be difficult. But I feel like I'm being reflected back. That part of me that is strong and capable. That's what this deck does for me. It reminds me of that. There's such a human element to this deck that I think is really encouraging and empowering and beautiful and radically loving. I don't know if I'm making any sense. But I just think this is one of those wonderful decks. And I've spoken about this card, the Six of Pentacles, possibly my favorite Six of Pentacles ever, because I've always really struggled with the imagery in that card and the general consensus message that I hear our communities talk about that card representing. This is how I see that card. Yeah, has much more to do with power dynamics than charity or generosity. Well, I mean, charity has a lot of power dynamics happening within it, and generosity is subject to power dynamics. But I just feel like a lot of the time we view and talk about that card for me, what seems too simplistically. But that would be my politics talking. I just think this is the most wonderful deck. I think this has been the deck that's probably impacted me the most this year. And if I could vote for a deck that I think is... I didn't come out this year, did it? But... you know how like you can have a favorite something, but then you can also view something as just more objectively what you think is best or most important or most significant? This would be very up there, close to my favorite deck that I've ever worked with. But it possibly would be, it would take the cake for the one that I'm most glad is out in the world. I don't know if that makes any sense. Am I making any sense? Or am I just talking a bunch of whatever? Now that this deck is out, because I haven't really used it in a little while, because I haven't really been using tarot very much the last little while, other than my guardian angel tarot. When I pulled this out to do my deck collection video last night, I started crying. I got a bit emotional, and I kind of realized then that this is the deck that I need right now. And I don't know why I didn't think of it. I think I was thinking of it again because I haven't used it in a while. I was thinking of it again in the way that I thought about it before I got it, which was that it was going to be political and hard and radical in all of those ways that it is, but it's also not. It's not just radical in the political sense. It's radical in a very soft way. And I mean, love and self-love, those things can be and have been politicized as well. But I think sometimes, especially in activist circles, I think we can harden ourselves because we know how hard the task ahead is. And so we feel the need to be like stoic and strong, and I think decks like this, and also was it Stephanie Dowrick said something too, and Brene Brown has said some things too that just kind of remind me that sometimes stepping into love and being soft, not like pushover, not giving up, but allowing a soft space in our heart is often a more radical, brave, dangerous act than the just being hard. We need both. And I don't know, I think that that's what this deck reminds me of it's not just about human rights in the kind of like the out there intersectional politics. It is about that, but it's also about the human spirit and the tenacity of it and the sacredness of our own hearts and the connection we have with ourselves and each other. I don't know, I feel like I'm getting real deep in the bullshit talk, but that's how I feel. I hope I'm kind of expressing that in some way that might make sense to somebody. But I just think this is such an incredible deck. I wish everybody could have a copy of it because I think it's brilliant and important and wonderful. And it's making me emotional just thinking about how much I need it right now and how grateful I am that I have it. So that is my story. I'm going to stop talking before I don't know, talk myself into a corner. I hope that made sense. I'm not trying to downplay the politics of this deck. That is not my intention at all. You guys know I'm very politically active sort of a person. And although that's not the center of my channel, I've never shied away from that on here either. So I'm not trying to dismiss the politics of the deck. I'm not trying to whatever. I just think that it's easy to look at the deck and say it's just the hardness of politics, and it's not. There's so much more to that deck, in a way that is radical in the true sense of the word. It's not radical just in terms of, you know, overthrowing dictators and the patriarchy. It's radical in how we view ourselves in the world as well as what we do in the world. I don't know. I don't know. I love it. Can you tell? I'm quite passionate about the deck. I've got the mass-produced version on pre-order. Oh, is it being mass-produced now? Interesting. I might have a look and get a copy as well, just because this box came a bit beat up and a couple of the cards came damaged. I ordered it from Two Sides Tarot, who is kind of like one of our indie deck retailers here in Australia. She only stocks a few decks, but she's great. And it was the first deck I ever ordered from her, but the box, yeah, came a little bit damaged and a couple of the cards were damaged, but I actually got the last copy that she had. So she gave me a bit of a discount, which was wonderful, and I really appreciated that. But I've always just been conscious of the fact that I want it to last forever. So I might get another copy, which I wasn't planning on doing if it was going to be independently published, because that wouldn't be cheap. And it's like, do I really need a backup copy of a deck I already have? But if it's mass produced, I might. Also just curious to see, you know, if the production is very different. I missed the first edition. I have on pre-order now. Yeah. It went pretty quickly, hey. I remember when it came out and I was just kind of, I didn't get it on the Kickstarter because I was worried that the images were too busy for me, and how, like, just because my eyes are a bit funny. And then when it came out and I started seeing pictures on Instagram, I was like, oh fuck, no, I think this is something worth me giving a go. And yeah, I ordered it from Two Sides and I got the last copy. So, and then like the next day I was hearing about how it was out of print pretty much everywhere. So I'm very glad I took the jump when I did. Kind of reminds me of the Everyday Enchantment Tarot. Yeah, I've heard people say that. I don't have that deck though, but interesting. Makes perfect sense. Okay, good. I'm glad somebody understands me. Just dropping by for a minute while I get ready to go to work. Which deck is this? It's the Next World Tarot by Christy C. Road, which Tracy answered. Thank you. I'm going to have to pull out my copy now. I haven't used it in a while. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now, is that I just, yeah, I really want it to be using it. I now must have this deck. So glad it's available again. Yeah, I know. I'm really glad it's available again too. Because I know a lot of people missed out on it and a lot of people wanted it, and I do think a lot of people would benefit from it. So I'm really glad that it's back out. Because I was a bit worried it was going to be like the Slow Hollow Tarot, because I know that was really powerful and important for a lot of people. I had it, and I just, because it's a very American-centric, I didn't really connect with it. And it's very specific to a certain... it's been a long time since I don't really remember a lot about it, but it just didn't really resonate with my personal experience. And the Next World is still very American-centric, but at least for me, it felt a little bit more accessible, a lot more accessible to me than the Slow Hollow did. Also, I just prefer the artwork. The Slow Hollow is beautiful, just not really my sort of thing. So yeah, it still feels very American-centric, but not to the point where I can't, you know, draw parallels to myself, and not to the point where I can't, where it just kind of all goes over my head and feels very alien or foreign to me. But yeah, those are my favorite decks of the year. Wow, we spoke about 12 decks and it took me, what, how long? 100 minutes. Well, thanks to anyone who's still here. Now there seems to be a few of you. That's nice. How were you surprised by any of the ones that I listed? I feel like I don't think anyone would have guessed the Tarot Mucha. Maybe not even the Ophidia Rosa. But I feel like most of the other ones I've spoken about quite a bit on my channel. Thank you so much for this video. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out. Love to see all the decks. Yeah, I always love talking about. It's always fun to just talk about the stuff you love, you know? I don't know, sometimes we can spend a lot of time critiquing things, which is an important thing to do, and unboxing things, which is a fun thing to do, but it's nice to just kind of reflect on the stuff that we've enjoyed using as well. Thank you for sharing. I've missed you. Oh, thank you. I've kind of been around a little bit, but yeah. I feel a little bit sour that the first video I've actually tried to make, my technology has failed me and I can't edit it. I'm like, I've taken 2 months off editing and I finally get around to doing it and I can't. Although I don't look forward to it. I've decided if I do start editing again, it's going to be very loose. I'm not going to be as particular, at least for a little while. I just can't be fucked. Spending that much time editing takes so long. Just woke up, I'm in the USA. Looking forward to watching this from the beginning. Hello, good morning. Yes, we basically just went over my top 10 tarot decks of the year with one honorable mention, and I also shared my favorite oracle deck of the year. So that's what you have to look forward to. I suppose, before I go, does anyone have any questions for me? I always ask that at the end of these things, just to kind of check before I just am like, okay, bye. Do you have any questions or anything you want to tell me or for me to mention or whatever before I head off? Don't edit, you're great as you are, and live videos are always a good idea. Yeah, I don't know. I personally don't enjoy watching live videos back just because I feel like there's so much rambling, and obviously there is. Like, if I had filmed this video and edited it, it would have been a 20 to 30 minute video. And I just know everybody's so busy. Like, I prefer watching actual videos, me personally. And I do feel like my normal videos are better, but for now, live is what I'm doing just because I can't be fucked. I really can't be fucked. Even if I'm on here for 3 hours, that is still a lot less time than I would spend making a 20-minute video. So this is just me being selfish, really. It's a lot easier to do the live thing. Although the other shitty thing is my internet, which makes the image quality so bad that I can't do like an unboxing or something on here because you couldn't see the cards. There's no point to that. There's borderline no point to this, really. Except to hang out and chat. That's all the point we really need, right? I don't know. Yes, I agree. Oh, thank you. That's very kind. You are very kind to me. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, if nobody has anything they want to ask me or want me to talk about, I don't know if or when I'll be back. These lives are always very spontaneous. I mean, I scheduled this about an hour and a half before I started because I never know what I'm doing or what I feel like doing. My life isn't, you know, very strictly scheduled. Wow, that's a loud plane. Can you guys hear that? So yeah, I don't know. I don't have any plans for what's going to happen. I do still have another video that I filmed like months ago that I'll publish at some point. But yeah. Hope you guys all have a good Christmas or holiday or whatever it is you're celebrating or doing. Apparently Christmas here is going to be lovely and warm. I'm really looking forward to it. I've bought Blair like 7 t-shirts. I always get him nerd shirts. Like, I don't know if you've seen, like, in our vlogs, like, if you've ever seen him in vlogs and stuff. He's always wearing just a t-shirt that has, like, some geeky, nerdy reference on it. Whether it's, like, a Doctor Who thing, or a Zelda thing, or a Mario thing, or a Star Trek thing, or whatever. That's all. I get him all of those. Because his birthday's in June. So I always get him a couple of shirts at Christmas and a couple of shirts at his birthday, and so, you know, he kind of cycles through, throws out a few old ones and has these new shirts that he gets to, and he loves them. And so I bought 4, which is already a lot, and then I found 3 more. So he's gonna have 7 new t-shirts. I'm like, babe, you need to go through your drawers and throw out a few shirts. There's not enough room, but they're really cool. I always get a kick out of that. And then I bought him some cool socks because he wanted some colourful socks to wear under his boring work trousers. And he's bought me a 5-year Hobonichi diary, which I'm really excited about. And I had Mum for Secret Santa, so I bought her some cool presents. I don't think she'll be watching. Hi, Mum. No. But other than that, we just go around to Mum and Dad's and play some darts and bocce and eat food, and it'll be good. It'll be good, and it'll be lovely and sunny and warm, which I love. Oh, any deck wishes? The Collective Tarot. That's about it. That's pretty much the only deck on my wish list at this point, is the Collective Tarot. And I know that's going to be a hard one to come by. But other than that, no. I mean, I haven't really been keeping up with what's coming out, but I also just don't really feel like I want a whole lot of new decks in my life. I did just yesterday get the Sacred Creators Oracle. I got this in a trade with Gordo. I have to message him and let him know it arrived. This is a deck I've wanted for a long time, but I just didn't want to pay for the shipping and the deck. It just felt like too much of an investment for an Oracle deck. But for a trade, I'm very happy. So I'm looking forward to playing around with this. I drew a card yesterday and it was kind of like, oh fuck. Thank you for that. I don't know whether I really want to deal with that right now, but okay. The Minute Tarot. Are these on your list? The Silhouette Tarot and the Minute Tarot. I'm waiting for the Dream Keeper's Tarot. Dream Keeper's Tarot. What is that? Oh, I am actually, now I just saw it's on Kickstarter. I only got one of them. She did a Kickstarter recently for her 2 tarot decks. I didn't get the collage-y one. I think it's the Muse Tarot. I got the other one, which was like the Light Seekers Tarot or something. So that's coming, but that's, I think, and then I also have traded for the Kitty Kahane Tarot. So those are the only 2 decks coming, which will be fun. The Dream Keeper's Tarot. Oh, I do remember having a look at this. Very ethereal and pretty. Bit creepy too. It's kind of, looks interesting. Looks a little bit like a more mature version of is it the Chicoli? I don't know, that was just my first thought, with kind of like the ballerinas and the headless things and the, looks interesting. Cool. I'm waiting for the Light Seekers and the Muse, yeah. I'm just waiting for this Light Seekers. The Muse one looks beautiful too, just, I don't know. One was an investment enough, and I think I definitely preferred the look of the Light Seekers, although I haven't looked at either in a long time. So it'll be a complete surprise really when it arrives. I actually forgot until recently when she sent the last update. I was like, the Light Seekers, that sounds familiar. Oh yeah, I ordered that, didn't I? Cool. I guess I'm getting a deck soon. I don't really do Kickstarters very often, so it always feels rather strange. I received the Dream Keeper's Tarot yesterday. Oh, very cool. A bit darker than on Instagram. I love the weirdness. Yeah, it definitely looks a bit weird and strange and very cool. Okay, well thanks everybody for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this. And I'm not sure if or when the tarot deck collection video will be up. I hope I'll get it up eventually. Sooner rather than later would be good, but I don't know. Can't promise anything while my computer's broken. Blair promises me it's a software issue, because my computer is, I don't know if I've told you guys this before. Blair actually built me it's a Hackintosh. So it's a PC that he's done fancy things to and hacked so that it can run Mac, like iOS. Which is great because it was like a quarter of the price. But every now and then it has a few problems. And at the moment it's in Struggle Town. But Blair's like working a lot at the moment, so I'm not sure when he'll get a chance to have a look. But hopefully he'll fix it for me. That's what having a software engineer in the house, or a network engineer in the house, is a handy thing, having a techie boyfriend. So if he does get around to fixing it, that video will be up at some point. And who knows, maybe I'll make videos again, I don't know. I haven't decided what's going on with me, but that's okay. Thank you, Tracy. Have a good day. Yeah, I'm heading off to... Oh, butterfly, we're just leaving. Hello. I was kind of like thinking, I'm like, butterfly's usually here. Where's her? Because your name comes up all blue for me. Because you're my one and only moderator. Not that you should be here. This was not scheduled or anything. It just... Your absence was noticed and you were missed. So hello, but we are heading off now. Thank you to everybody who hung out with me. I hope you enjoyed this. I feel like I'm repeating myself now. I'm getting tired. It's midnight. I hope you all have a wonderful day and holiday and Christmas or whatever it is that you do, whatever you're celebrating. It's Saturday morning. Oh, well, I'm glad you had a bit of a sleep in. That's good. I hope you have a good weekend. Better late than never. Yes, yes. It was lovely to see you all. And I'm glad you got to pop in and say hi. Hope you're all well. Bye.